Welcome to this presentation of NEK TS 606. My name is Arild Røed, and I'm the standardization manager in NEK. And in this case, NK 18A, the committee for offshore and ship cables. We're looking at this technical specification for offshore installations. It's halogen-free, low-smoke, flame-retardant, and fire-resistant cables. I will go through the overall the scope, a little bit of the background, and the structure of the standard. The scope of the standard, it specifies basic requirements for halogen-free and or mud-resistant cables. It's for low and high voltage cables, and it is for most cables basically, so power, control, lighting, instrumentation, telecommunication, and optical fiber cables. And then it's specifically for fire-resistant cables and jet fire-resistant cables. It's based on a number of IEC standards, the requirements for the same type of cables I just mentioned, and then other standards, for example, the 60092 360 for materials and sheeting materials. And the purpose is really for this specification is to give the user a more narrow selection of cables, as there are very many different standards for cables. Using this specification will narrow it down to a number of cables that are deemed fit for mobile and fixed offshore units. So looking a little bit in the rear mirror, it was originally based on a recommended practice for specification of cables, which was issued by the organization called Norwegian Oil Industry Association at the time. That's back in the 80s. And then the first edition of this document here replaced that document in 1993, and now it's been revised a number of times, and this is the 7th edition that came out now this year. It's also, of course, in addition to just narrow the number down for those that use this specification, it also standardizes the types of cables used on the installations. This particular edition, the 7th edition, it has some updates. So there are two standards that are withdrawn. The 6331-21 and 6331-25, they are withdrawn but replaced by the 6331-4, which now specifies fire conditions to and above 830 degrees. There's also been some updates on the color coding on the conductors, and also a new clause has been added. There has been demand for requirements to cables for battery circuits and DC circuits, and due to sort of lack of such requirements in IEC standards, which we think will eventually be in place, we have added that to this standard, and then we'll see later if it will be covered by IEC. That means there are some additional cable types that has been added, both for DC and also for high voltage cables up to with increased voltages. So then we can have a brief look at the structure. I already went through the scope. And there's a list of normative references, etc. There are only a few terms and definitions, as most of the terms and definitions are already specified in the IEC standards. And then there are a number of topics on design and test requirements, as you can see here. Furthermore, there's some specifications on the core identifications, sheet marking and colors. Also the required information and data. Some additional tests are also specified for inspection and testing. And then finally, preparation for delivery. and this new chapter that I mentioned, cables for battery circuits and primary DC distribution grids. So, and finally, I've just added one slide to show you what is referred to as a card, a cable card, but this is one type of cable. And this standard consists of 48 cards now. So this particular card here is an RF-OU, TF-OU, 1.2 kilovolt cable. And you can see the properties of this cable has been specified here. If you specify NEK TS 606, that means you have to choose between the cables of this one of the 48 types that are specified here. Okay, thank you for your attention, and you can read more on the web page of the committee that has prepared this standard, NK 18A, or you can get the standard on standard.no. Thank you.